Dear Dhamma friends, we have come to the last question and answer session in this Kalalgoda English medium retreat. So we have received several written questions. We will begin the discussion with written questions.
We have 6 questions altogether.
Yeah.
This has 2 parts. She's explaining the experiences in 2 sittings. So I'll read both of us. Venerable Bhante, number 1, when I meditated last night, 6 to 7 p.m., the breath became very fine towards the latter part of meditation, and later it was a little scary thinking that I might faint. Is it actually happening? If so, how is life maintained, or is it a perception?
Sorry, could you repeat the last sentence?
Is it actually happening? If so, how is life maintained, or is it a perception?
Now he or she is going to be fainted, and then
she felt like breath became very fine, but after that she felt a bit faint.
Right.
And the second part also I read
Right.
Second part, during the next session, 8 to 9 p.m., this was reached fairly quickly, and a stillness came over as well. How am I to proceed from here? Venerable Bhante, they once had.
Yeah, actually, we sometimes feel that we have to think about the amount of oxygen to be taken and all these things, that we don't need to worry. Body will take care of that. So that body knowledge will help in that. And therefore, actually the body needs very little amount of oxygen, it seems. Unless our mind is not agitated. Now, if the mind is agitated and if there are so much of thinking going on, then there are a lot of food needed, a lot of air needed, and a lot of consumption is there. But if the body is simply simply a kind of a maintenance activity, then we don't need much resources. And there are certain yogis, so they simply take very little even food. They are not eating too much because just the body maintenance is enough. So therefore, likewise, when your meditation continues and there are stages where your breathing really calms down, it's almost like not breathing. And for example, literally, it is said that if one is entering 4th jhana, it's almost like no breathing. So you can't reach this. So if you are afraid, so basically you don't need to worry. The body is calming down, and it happens very subtle. Breathing is there, and breathing further and further calming down. And thing is, if you start to worry about it, then again the process gets disturbed. Then again breathing can happen. So therefore, so far no one has died through Anapanasati. So you don't need to worry. So just continue. So nothing to worry. Basically let the body calm down, let the mind calm down, let the breathing calm down. So that is the 4th stage. Typically, in Kayanapasana section, there are 4 sections, 4 stages. The 4th one is called Passammayam Kaya Sankhara Nasati Samiti Sikkati. Yeah, you are allowing the breath to calm down. The whole process calms down and you feel very happy, very light, and the body becomes very light, the mind also becomes very relaxed, very light. So you can't reach this if the breathing is very gross. But as a result of concentration development, the breathing calms down and we have to support that. So it's a matter of you simply allow it to happen. So don't worry, and when you are sort of familiar with this state, so since when you are experiencing it for the first time you might feel a little jerky, but when it is happening again and again, so it will be very natural.
Venerable Bhante, seated meditation. After some time, pain arises in one leg. I stop watching my breath and then start watching the pain. I observe the pain moving and most of the time getting more intense. During this time, I feel like shifting my position and get back to my breath, as that is the primary object of meditation. Am I running away from pain? Nissarana.
It is good if you can stay with the pain if your mind is not scattered. Now, idea is now breathing is used to calm down yourself and to properly focus your attention. And once the mind is well focused and concentrated, and that concentrated mind can be used to observe various pains. Not only pains, I mean, here we are taking pain as the primary object. So the thing is, the concentrated mind is very powerful. Even a little pain appears like kind of a huge one. So that's a characteristic of concentrated mind. Very much like you are looking at something through a magnifying glass, or like a what you call this microscope, where it has the capacity to look at it in a multitude, in a multiplied manner. Very much like that. So when the mind is concentrated, this particular pain may be very little pain, but the concentrated mind is capable of seeing it in a big way. But if you are able to be with it till it manifests in different ways, so you are able to learn from it. I mean, if you are simply, when it is little unbearable, if you are jumping to something else, then I mean, you are losing some part of the pain. So slowly try to be little patient. I mean, maybe fairly unbearable, but slowly you can start to be with such pain, and it's kind of a cycle is there. I mean, it can reach some threshold, and then ultimately it will pass down, it will calm down, and ultimately it will pass away. So if you are able to look at this complete cycle of the pain, then you are learning. So therefore it is very difficult for us to understand, okay, whether this particular pain, to what extent it will reach. So these are all without our control. Different pains are arising, and to what magnitude it will grow, we don't know. So that is why, I mean, by looking at pain again and again, these are the ones that we are learning. It may be a pleasurable pain, or this pleasurable feeling, or it may be a painful feeling, and we don't know how long it will last and what is the maximum region it will reach, and all these things. And once it passes away, where again next feeling would arise, everything is without much control. And beauty is, if you are able to look at this pain very closely, in a very well-focused manner, there may be possibility that you are even able to recognize the cause of pain. So that is the contact. There may be little contact happening, maybe kind of a, say, muscle contact or something. Some sort of a contact is there, so that is causing this pain, or maybe even pleasure. So if you are able to recognize this contact, then you are going further. Buddha has mentioned contact is the cause for the pain, for the feeling. Pasapaccha Vedana. So this Vedananupasana is a very good resource for us to understand that theory, that principle. So if you are able to look at carefully about the pain or pleasure with the attitude that you are going to learn from it, you are kind of an investigator, then you can learn a lot. Yeah. But on the other hand, I mean, if it is unbearable and the mind can't bear it at all, then can't help. You simply can little change your posture, or you can change your attention to some other place, and you can continue your meditation. Slowly anyway, you can bear these things, and that is how it is happening. At the very early stages, you can't bear many pains, so that is the way. But as you are maturing, you will be able to bear a lot of things.
Venerable Bhante, I used to start my meditation from Anapanasati. Sometimes I feel pains in my body, like knee pain. After that, I try to look at the pain, how it arises and passing away, till I get myself calm. Is that a wrong way of meditation? Please explain me.
I didn't get the question.
Sometimes I feel pain in my body, like knee pain. After that, I try to look at the pain, how it arises and passing away.
Right.
Until get my mind calm.
I mean, this is the correct practice. I mean, nothing to worry. here, say, if your mind is well concentrated, so your attention is now drawn to various pains or various feelings, and if you are able to maintain a calm mind and look at the pain or observe the pain, so then we are in the Vedananupasana. So calming down of the mind can happen, but it's in a way depends on the attitude also. Now say if you are trying to, if your objective is calming down the mind by looking at the pain, I think there's a little wrong kind of attitude there. So it is not the real calming down the objective, rather you are observing pain to understand it. There are various feelings available, so how this feeling behave? What are the characteristics of the feeling? So objective is not that we are trying to calm down the mind. Calming down may be a side effect. Calming down also can happen, but the more important is the wisdom development. So how this pain behave? Is it a single pain or is it multiple pains there, appear like single pain, or different pains are there, a collection of pains are there, and how they are behaving, and each and every little pain may be behaving individually and according to their own conditions, causes and conditions, and these are all kind of field of understanding. So we are observing this to gain this understanding. So that is more important than expecting calming down. So you might not get complete kind of a concentrated, now say for example, say you are doing some samatha meditation. Through samatha meditation, say you are able to calm down your mind and in a blissful state. Such may not be possible through Vedananupasana. But there are certain, more advanced results than this blissful state. Calming down is in a way, it's a very, it's also a good result, but there are more mature results than that. So I think better to change the attitude. So when the pain is available and if your mind is concentrated and you have the capacity to look at it, just look at it and see various dimensions of the pain, and then you will get more and more understanding about pain.
Nissarana, most venerable Bhante, Satipatthana Sutta, Kayanupassana. As we discussed yesterday, the Sabbakaya could be either the body from the soles of feet up to the tips of hair, or it could be the internal part of the breath from the upper lip to the diaphragm. Often I feel sensations on the body.
Small correction. Now it can be the whole body or it can be the complete breath. So you are not supposed to follow the breath. Complete breath does not mean that the passage of the breath. Now it may start from the nostril and then may go to the, various ducts are there. I don't know the biological names. Maybe doctor can help me. Pharynx? Okay, so going through them and then ultimately come to the lungs and all these things. So this is not what we are talking as Sabbakaya Patisamvedi. Here Sabbakaya Patisamvedi, either the complete breath, say for example, okay, assume this is the breath and now I am here. So this is where my attention is. Now I am getting the beginning of the breath. Now I am getting the middle of the breath. I am getting the end of the breath, and it has gone. I am still here. But I have seen the complete in-breath. Now again I am feeling the beginning of the out-breath, the middle of the out-breath, end of the out-breath. It has gone. Now I have seen the complete out-breath. But I am staying still here. So this is one way of looking at it. So I am not supposed to follow the breath till it goes to the lungs, or I am not supposed to follow the out breath when it is going out. But my job is at the nostril. So you better remember, mindfulness is very much like a gatekeeper. So Buddha has very clearly mentioned in various suttas, mindfulness is very much like a gatekeeper. Gatekeeper's job is at the gate. He is not going with the visitors, going inside the visitors or not going outside whoever going out. So we have to keep at the nostril. So therefore, looking at the complete in-breath and out-breath is still where we are keeping our attention at the nostril, and the breath, when it is passing that particular point or that particular place, we are observing it. But the other side, that Sabbakaya Patisanvedi, what I mentioned yesterday, that you are keep having a kind of a complete picture. Rather than you are simply focusing only the breath, you are like having an overall picture of the whole body. You are simply having a kind of overlooking the whole body. So that is also possible. You are not focusing to any particular place, but have a kind of an overlook, kind of a big picture. Like looking at from somewhere outside, now you are able to look at the whole body. And the various feelings and sensations are all calming down, and you are simply allowing them to calm down. So that is the big picture of the whole body. So that is also possible. So these are the two approaches available. Either approach, as a result of this exercise, your body has to calm down, the breath has to calm down. So that is the last stage in Kayanupassana, Pasambaya and Kaya Sankara. So the third stage is where what we are discussing here, to look at the complete breath. Yeah.
Often I feel sensations on the body from top of the head to tips of toes, but only at the surface level. No sensation from the internal parts, very, very seldom. Is this what is mentioned as iti bahiddava kaya kayanupassi viharati? Similarly, in the path of the breath that has been maintained as iti ajjattanga kaya kayanupassi viharati, please clarify. Much merit to Bhante. May you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana this very life.
No, typically, this Ajjatta Bahiddha also has various definitions. So all are very practical. One definition, such definition is where, say for example, when you are looking at in-breath, then the out-breath is your external. So in-breath is the inside, out-breath becomes external. In-breath is internal, out-breath becomes external. Assume now you are observing out-breath. Then out-breath becomes internal, in-breath becomes external. So very much like to what object that you are paying your attention, paying your focus, that becomes the internal, and all the rest becomes external. So that's also no problem, where you are fully aware of what is available for the present moment. At this moment, at this very moment, if in-breath is happening, so it becomes the internal object. Everything else is external. So like that. On the other hand, there's internal and external. You can have some another kind of understanding. So when you are able to understand the complete cycle of in-breath and out-breath, all this breathing process, so you can understand the similar process is available with someone else as well, with another yogi, with another person, another being. So very much the similar process. So that's also another type of understanding where you understand. So this is not that I am breathing, or this is not a particular person. This is a kind of a body. It's a kind of a process. There are certain causes, conditioning this whole process. So you are understanding that whole process, and then with such knowledge, you can inferentially understand. Okay, another person also has the same thing. So that is another understanding. So therefore, this internal and external has these both sides, both definitions, both are valid. Yes. So I don't know whether am I clarified it enough? Yeah. Okay.
Swami Vahansa. Today is my 4th retreat at Kalalgoda. My question is about Anapanasati Sutta. What does it mean by Aniccanupassi Asasissami Siddhati, Viraganupassi Asasissami Siddhati, Nirodhanupassi Asasissami Siddhati, Patinissagganupassi Asasissami Siddhati?
Yeah, wait. 4 questions. Actually, all these questions, all these 4 stages comes under Dhammanupassana. So as you know, in Anapanasati Sutta, Buddha explains Anapanasati with 16 stages. So the first 4 stages belong to Kayanupassana, next 4 belongs to Vedananupassana, next 4 belongs to Chittanupassana, and the last 4 belongs to Dhammanupassana. So these questions are related to Dhammanupassana. So what is Aniccanupassī? So actually this Aniccanupassī can be incorporated to either Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana or Chittanupassana. What I am trying to tell is, say, assume that you are observing breath. Now breath becomes rising and passing away. If you are coming to some subtler stages, refined stages, then it is no more in-breath or out-breath. It's simply kind of a sensation. It's simply kind of a feeling. Now it is happening in the body and you are feeling that there is some sort of a sensation because of this breath. Due to in-breath there is a sensation, due to out-breath there is a sensation, and that sensation rising and passing away. It is common to in-breath and it is common to out-breath. So you can look at this whole process with that kind of an attitude. So where you are looking at it with an impermanence eye. So Aniccanupassī. Assume that now there are various feelings in the body. Maybe some happy, pleasurable feelings available, and them also you can look at with the same attitude. These feelings are not permanent, and they are coming and going. They are rising and they are passing away. Okay, another one arising and passing away. So you can look at these feelings also as Aniccanupassī. They are also rising and passing away. And assume now you are looking at the mind. Okay, there are various thoughts happening and they also not permanent. They are also coming and going. There are another thought coming and going. So they are also impermanent. So you can look at the mind also as Aniccanupassī. So actually this four steps mentioned in Dhammanupassana section is very much like you can apply that same principles to all these stages. But till you are fairly coming towards the Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana, you can't have the full range. Say when you are only as a beginner, you are not in the Dhammanupassana, you are not in the Chittanupassana, you are simply in the Kayanupassana level. At that time you can only look at Kayanupassana. But assume now you are going to Vedananupassana, you can handle both. Then you are growing to Chittanupassana, now you can handle all three. And as a result, now you can go to the fourth section and now you can see the whole range. At a time when the bodily experiences are available, you can look at them with an impermanent eye. When the feelings are available, you can look at them with an impermanent eye. When the mental factors are available, you can look at them also with an impermanent eye. So this is how you can practice Dhammanupassana. Actually, it is not only for the mental states, but you can even apply that to the body, to the feelings, as well as to the mental states. Similarly, Viraganupassī, where you are understanding now these are fading away. You are not promoting any of these. You are not doing anything. Rather, when you are step back and looking at them, you are simply observing them, you can understand they have some sort of a cycle. They have a rising cycle and they have a passing cycle. And you are looking at mostly the passing away cycle and they are fading away. You are now dispassionate about the whole process. You are not having any kind of a desire about this process. You have a little dispassionate attitude and you are allowing them to pass away, allowing them to fade away. Very much like it with a dispassion. That is where Viraganupassī. So it may be bodily sensations, it may be various feelings, and it may be even various thoughts. So Viraganupassī. Nirodhanupassī is where everything is passing away side. Viraganupassī, where dispassionate comes as the prominent. Now Nirodhanupassī is where the things are passing away. Things are arising but passing away. You are looking at the passing away side. That is where the Nirodhanupassī. Then Patinissagganupassī is where you have an attitude of relinquishment. Whatever arises, you simply relinquish. You are not holding to anything. Now typically, our mind holds to things. Say you are going through some pleasurable feeling. So we immediately grasp them. We like it. I want to hold it, I want to have it more. So that's the attitude we have. But as a result of fair amount of practice, so you will understand, they don't belong to me. They are happening due to various causes. These causes are without my control. So you now become dispassionate about the whole process, and you simply allow it to pass away. And you are simply relinquishing them. You allow them to let go. So this is another attitude being developed, and that is the last stage. Yeah.
Dhamma question. What does it mean by Rupa end, Rupa ante? Nama, the other end. Vijnana in the middle. How can we practice this thing?
Yeah. Now, if you refer Majje Sutta, now, I don't know, have you heard about Majje Sutta? So there is one beautiful sutta called Majje Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya, where 6 months are giving 6 definitions. What is the 2 extremes and what is the middle? So one definition is past is one extreme, the future is the other extreme, the middle is the what? Present. Middle is the present. Typically, because of the craving, we are not being in the present, or we are not experiencing the present. Present is being very much hidden. Our mind is in the 2 extremes, either in the past or in the future. So this is where we can easily understand these 2 extremes. And then another definition is, one extreme is say internal faculties, say eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mind. So the internal faculties. The external is the outside faculties, where you have the forms, sounds, say the tastes, the smells, the say tangibles, tactile sensations, and the dhammas. Those are the mental, say what's the objects for the mind. So they becomes the outside ones. Say for example, when you are looking at form, you are looking at something. So your eye becomes the internal side. The form becomes the external side. So what is in between? That is the vijnana. That is the consciousness. But we don't understand the function of the consciousness. That is being hidden because of craving. That is what Buddha is telling. Okay? Because of craving, so this is being hidden. We immediately we grab the external object. So it is beautiful. So we are in that end. So I have seen a beautiful form. Now I am being carried away to the form. On the other hand, or else I am now enjoying something and it is coming back to myself. I am here. I am the one looking at it. So I am in this end. So we are being dragged between these 2 ends. Never understand the function of the consciousness. Consciousness is the one really doing this whole, the division. So this understanding, okay, there's a kind of a distinction. Okay, there's a form there, there's a looking, someone who is seeing here. So this whole division is the function of the consciousness. But we don't understand that function. That is where we are being driven between these 2 ends. So similarly, in this question, what it is asking is, the name, the mental part, and the form, that is the material part, and in between there is a consciousness part. So the middle is the consciousness part. So either we are in the form side, we are the material side, or either we are in the mental side, and we are losing the in-between, that is the consciousness part. So these are the 2 ends, nama in one end, rupa in the other end, vijnana in the middle. So this is how we have to understand that. Yeah. That's all. Yeah.
But there is someone who would like to ask some questions.
Yeah. Actually, that's all. We have written questions. If anyone has. Yeah.
So, now when I'm practicing daily, in my day-to-day practices, walking and sitting meditation, there's not a lot of grasping or agitation. So basically, during either any one of those practices, and then about a couple of months ago, when I was practicing sitting meditation, I had whole flux of thoughts coming, kind of overwhelmed me, but I continued the meditation. Now it has all subsided. So majority of the time, in either way, there is, majority of the time,
Right.
No grasping or agitation happening, and also the thoughts are at a different level, I feel, because it's not like the thoughts don't have much no words.
Yeah, correct.
It's like a feeling, like hanging,
Correct.
like such.
Right.
And
How about signs? Now, typically, thoughts are arising with signs also. You know, the perception is there.
Yeah.
Sanya.
Yeah.
So, are you noting reducing of sanya?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So
that's also happening. And so it's at a very slight level, it's sort of like an indication or a suggestion. It's not like the thoughts don't have words, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm trying to see sometimes like whether they are coming or whether there's a thinker, I'm thinking about it, or they're just thoughts. Most of the time I'm not able to distinguish whether I am doing the thinking or the thoughts are just happening.
Yeah.
I'm not able to do that.
Right.
So now in the sitting meditation.
Now let me add a little bit. Now when we look at, okay, am I thinking or am I thinking? So then that itself makes the thing again stumble.
Yeah.
So I mean, we don't need to have that kind of investigation here. You can, rather than I part, you can see how this happens. So if we are trying to introduce am I thinking or something like that, then we are going again in the wrong direction. Because I haven't read this particular book. There is one book written by, I think, Mark Epstein, where he's telling thinking without a thinker. Thoughts without the thinker. So these are possibilities. I mean, thoughts may be available, but there is no thinker. Similarly, I mean, say, the seeing can happen, but there is no person to see. Hearing can happen, there is no person. Hearing is there. These are all kind of processes available, but we are introducing this person. So this introduction of person happens because of ignorance. So that is why we need to understand. So all are, in a way, different causes are available. Due to different causes, so different processes are available. But we are introducing this I component. So that is what we need to recognize. How this I component happens. How I making happens. How mind making happens. So when we are going through certain experiences, and to all these experiences, how I is there. How the I is introduced. So when I is introduced, I have to disclaim it. When I am making kind of a possessive attitude, okay, it's mine. So that has to be disclaimed. So that is how we have to slowly overcome this I making and mind making. So we have to allow the mind to grasp also. If it is natural, it may go and grasp. And once it's grasping, that means either I making is there or mind making is there. Ahankara mamankara. So there's a beautiful phrase, ahankara mamankara mananuse. So these are very much like three roots, like I making. So different experiences are there. To such experiences, I am attributing some person. So I making. Or else I am claiming, no, this is mine. So this is the possessing kind of thing. And sometimes we are measuring. Okay, there are certain experiences are there. So he is good, I am bad. He is bad, I am good. So likewise, I will do some sort of a measurement. So that is the mana. So these are the subtle levels that we need to recognize. Yeah.
So now that the thoughts influx has subsided, now in my sitting meditation, basically just Nothing really.
Yeah.
So now I like to get some guidance from you.
Yeah. So that, I mean, basically sitting meditation becomes simple idling.
Yes.
So I mean, basically we have nothing to do. So as the vipassana grows, so more and more we have to learn how to not to do.
Yes.
how to be idle.
Yeah.
So that is the most difficult part.
Yeah.
So we want to do something.
Yeah.
So I want to do something, please. Don't we have anything to do? Job to do. So here in the meditation, now we simply have nothing to do. So mind is very settled, no grasping, and in a very quiet situation, no inner chatter. So if that is the thing, so simply the equanimity. What is you call this upekka sambojjhanga. Upekka sambojjhanga is developing when we don't do anything. Very much like, say, assume that there is a cart being driven by 4 horses. If 4 of them are driving in different speeds, what happens? So we have to do something now. Suppose you are the charioteer. So you have to control, you have to adjust them so that they all 4 are now driving in the same speed. Assume now all 4 are driving in the same speed. Now what you have to do? Nothing. Simply watching. There's something like that. So when mind is not grasping anything, so we have nothing to do. So basically we simply have to be peaceful. That's all. So but the thing is, now we have to, it does not mean we are simply staying at home and just be idle. So because then so with some minor conditions this is possible. But how about some extreme conditions? So that is where again mind get agitated. Assume, say you are at home, there is no one is at home, you are happy, no problem. But now a beggar is coming, bothering, dashing to your door. Now you get angry, but you have to thank him. He is the one making you now, still you have defilements, still you get angry. So likewise, so the others are now helping you to understand this inner defilements. So we have to be with the others, and others are, we have to do work with others, and as a result of that, there may be certain again defilements arising, coming to the surface. Because the potential is still there. Potential, the latent tendencies are still there. So since the latent tendencies are still there, so when we are dealing with others, still there's a possibility that again we get angry, again we get lustful, again we get conceited. All things are possible. So therefore we better have some sort of a, still as a kind of a humble attitude. Okay, at the moment I am all right, but don't know when again I get turbulent, again I get angry. Likewise, so we have to put ourselves into these different situations, and we have to see how the mind is behaving. And then and there we have to cut them off. Then and there. Tatta tatta vipassati. That is that statement. Look at that statement, what Buddha is telling. Paccupannanca yodhammang tatta tatta vipassati. It does not mean that you are in a sitting session and looking at it. Every time you have to be ready, we are vigilant, and how the mind is behaving to different conditions. You may be working with someone, how the mind is behaving. You may be talking with someone, how the mind is behaving. You may be working some other activity, how the mind is behaving. Various things.
Like in the daily practice, so what is
Nothing
kind
to
of your recommendation for sitting and walking meditation?
That is, we better balance. If we do too much sitting, there's a possibility the concentration to come forward.
Yeah.
So, there are 5 faculties, no? Among them the mindfulness and the effort and the concentration, wisdom. Effort also very much like we have to have a kind of a long-term effort. And concentration, wisdom and mindfulness are the ones we have to be properly balanced. Now, if concentration is in the front, immediately we sit, immediately mind get concentrated. And again, we can stay for a long time in a concentrated state. And it can have somehow, it could be counterproductive for the Vipassana point of view, because this concentration is very powerful as a result of, because of that power, so your mind may not grasp anything. But it is not that your defilements are reduced. Defilements are still at the latent stage. That is the risk of concentration. But on the other hand, say you have no concentration at all, then mind starts to scatter. Then you can't operate with the defilements, because you need to have some kind of a calmness, some kind of a clarity of the mind. Then only the defilements can be easily visible and you can operate with them. So therefore, balancing this concentration and having a kind of some workable ground is up to us. So it can change. Now say you are working with various activities and you have went through various say discussions and all these things, and then it may be real disturbing. Then you again have to come back and concentrate. Can't help. But on the other hand, say you are simply at home, nobody to talk and no disturbance at all, then you don't need to sit. For what purpose? No need to sit. You can simply have a walk and have simply watch around and see whether how the mind come to more and more relaxed state. Now this very much like relaxation become the measurement. Now say previously our mind is really agitated, going into the past, going to the future, and so we forcefully meditate. We forcefully keep our attention on a particular object. So mind becomes absorbed to it. Now this is one stage that is also necessary. But now more and more we need to understand how mind become more relaxed. With some sort of natural way. Not in an artificial way, but with least friction. It's kind of just looking at it, but no tension. Maybe simply watching, no tension. Simply hearing, but no tension. So likewise. So how to have this balance, really balance, no tense state, no friction state. So that becomes the kind of our reference. More and more you are looking at your mind and see how is it tensed or is it relaxed. So how to achieve more relaxed state of mind. So that is the key. That's all. There's another question there.
Swami Mahatsa, just to take it from what you said, I have been attending the retreat. This is the third time I'm attending.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've improved a lot in my concentration. And I normally do the walking and the sitting meditation alternate. I never get concentration with walking, but with sitting meditation, this time, each session, I have been getting good concentration. But this morning, I did the walking meditation and I came and sat to do the sitting breathing meditation. I sat, just went through my posture, and then I didn't have any time, but I felt like a current going through my back. It was very thick, subsided. Then in the face again, it came up again in the face, subsided. Then the entire body, it subsided. And then all I realized was I was very calm. I couldn't really do the breathing, the Kalalgoda part. And I stayed, there was very good concentration. I stayed like that for almost more than 1 hour.
Right.
Then after breakfast again, the same thing happened. So I was worried I wasn't sure whether it's good to avoid the Kalalgoda. So I thought I would just not do the walking meditation, did only the sitting meditation. But then I didn't get my concentration as good.
Sorry, last statement?
I didn't get a very good concentration like before.
Right.
So I'm not sure whether I should be doing walking and sitting or just stick to sitting meditation.
Now, thing is, we are trying to have fair amount of concentration which is good enough to keep our attention on for a considerable period of time on a particular phenomenon. Now, say for example, in your case, say feelings. So different feelings are available. Are you able to keep your attention continuously till these all feelings are arising and changing and disappearing and all these things without much distraction?
I just don't have any time even to
Think something else. So that happens,
quickly.
but you are there.
Yes.
You are 100%, and you are looking at, you are being with that particular feelings, you are experiencing it. You are able to watch it.
Watch it, that's all.
Yeah, that's enough. Basically, when your mind is not drifting not drifting to anything else, but simply able to be with this particular experience totally, so then that itself is capable of bringing you to further. Vedananupassana itself has the capacity to develop your sampajanya. Now, assume at the beginning it appears like a single object, and you are simply watching it, but there is no any other distraction. But more and more you look at it closely, so your mindfulness refines, and as a result, now you might see, okay, it is not a single feeling, but there may be 5 feelings there. So likewise, as a result of your continuous attention to the same object, so this refinement can happen. So therefore, if you are not drifting to various other things, if you are able to look at it continuously, then the necessary amount of concentration will happen by itself. So nothing to worry. And only thing is, now assume that, now say you are watching this for a long time. Now this may be painful mostly. The painful feelings mostly sometimes. And then you might feel little, discouraged. Mind might lose the balance. So on such situation, you better again get up and again go for a walking and have a kind of balanced mind. So this balance is the one that you are bringing from walking and sitting. But if you are capable and the mind prefers now to look at it for a continuous period of time, long time, and various feelings are also arising, then the raw material is available for you to meditate. But if you lose this balance, again you can go back to walking and again settle yourself, again enjoy some sort of a joy needed for the practice. You need some energy, because sometimes this watching again and again certain pains become sometimes frustrating. So then again you go back to walking, or sometimes again to breathing, or to make yourself a little happy. Again come back and watch. So likewise you can switch. Okay, if there is no any other question, we can wind up this session.